Last week I made a video on arthropods, and this is a typical arthropod that belongs to the arachnida, the order arachnida. Now, this is a scorpion actually, and one of the property or the characteristic of an arthropod I mentioned is their jointed appendages that give them their name. The arthros, which is jointed, and podos, which is appendages. Now look at this. This is a scorpion that belongs to the class arachnida, order arachnida. Now look at this. We have this. Look at the joints here. Can you see? This is another joint. There's another joint here. Look at it. Can you see that the appendages are jointed? So they have jointed appendages. That's why we call them what? The arachnid. Now, the arachnids have 4 pairs of working appendages. 4 pairs of working appendages. If I want to count this one now, I have number 1 here. I have number 2 here. I have number 3 here. And I have number 4 here. And they have the same thing at this side as well. Right? So they have 4 pairs of working appendages. Their body is now separated into 2 parts, which is the cephalothorax and the abdomen. So this is their cephalothorax, where their head is fused with the what? With the thoracic region, and this is their abdomen. So in this case of arachnid, we call it what? We call it prosoma and opistosoma. So this is the prosoma, which is the cephalothorax, and the opistosoma, which is the abdomen. Now the opistosoma is now separated into 2 parts again. We call it what? We call it the mesostoma and the metastoma. So this is the mesostome and this is the metastome, which consists of the what? The aquilus, that consists of the stinger. This is the telsin, this is the stinger that they use for immobilizing their prey. So the function of this stinger here is to immobilize their prey. So what they do is they use this large chelate pedipalp. So this is a pedipalp, this large chelate pedipalp, for grasping their prey. So they use for grasping their prey, they use for holding their prey. Once they use for holding their prey, they use this stinger for immobilizing it by injecting what? By injecting venom inside the prey, and they put it inside their mouth part. In this mouth part, they now have something we call chelicerae. So this is chelicerae. There's a chelicerae at this mouth part. So they use this chelicerae for crushing their prey. So once they crush the prey, they are going to put it inside their mouth and they are going to feed on it. So if you now look closer, if you look closely, you will see something like hair. Look at it. They have something like hair. If you can view it under the microscope, you are going to see it very well. They have something like a hair strand all over their body. They call it chitin, and it serves as a mechanoreceptor. So it serves as a mechanoreceptor. You understand? Now, apart from this mechanoreceptor, they also have some other receptor on their body, which I'm going to show you later. So look at it. I've mentioned the pedipalp that they use for holding their prey, for grasping their prey. I've mentioned chelicerae that they use for crushing their prey. I've mentioned the telsin and the stinger that they use for immobilizing their prey. I've mentioned the part that they use for feeding on their prey. I've mentioned the working appendages that they use for walking, and they have jointed appendages. So we have the opistosome and the prosome, right? Now, if we flip it to the back, let me flip this. This is how it looks like from the back. So look at it. We have something like this. Okay. And we have this as well. This is their large median high around this side, and this is their abdomen, and this is the what? This is the caudal region. Look at it. So this is how they do. So they use their stinger. Can you see? This is their stinger that they use for anything that they want to use it for immobilizing their prey. So